Dan, RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Needing to outdo ourselves. I'm not 100% sure what I'm calling this. Obviously, you've seen the title. I don't know it yet. But it's along these lines of how it seems like we constantly need to be bigger than we were the last time. How the experience we're seeking next time needs to be bigger than the last experience. And how I think this is detrimental for a lot of us in our mental state, if you will, during our well-being, our manifestation practices. So let me take a step back. Let me try to explain where we're at with this and see what you think about it. And certainly share in the comments below your thoughts as far as whether I'm on the money, whether you agree, whether you disagree. Let's have a discussion out there. So one of the key things to manifesting, we've talked about this a great deal, is how we feel. How we feel is super important to the whole manifestation process. Obviously, when we're grumpy, we're not sending out a very good vibe, so certainly thought transmissions suffer from it. Certainly what we vibrate out is what we bring back, ripple effect, those kinds of things, right? So our feelings about things obviously matter a great deal. So that's good and bad, right? But that's where I think this is going to come into play with this outdoing ourselves, is that feeling part starts to kick in. So the example that I want to start with, and this happens to me, I don't want to say all the time, because I wish, frankly, but every once in a while, I put out a video that is just ridiculously popular. Like, relative to my other videos, like, I'm getting 3 and 4 times the number of views, which it's awesome. It's fun to see. And when I put these videos out, and I look at, I watch the analytics during the day, I try to stay up on comments. Every once in a while, I try to flip in there and refresh and see what's going on. And I'm like, what did I do? What's different about this? Sometimes I know it's the topic. Like, some topics are just, I could do it like every 4 days and probably get a bunch of views, but I kind of feel like I'm selling out when I do that, right? You don't want me doing the same topic every day. So when I kind of look at it, it makes me want to do another video that gets those same numbers or even better. Like, how can I improve this? How can I top this? How can I take this to the next level? And yes, we do want to grow, and growth is certainly a part of everything, but growth is, generally speaking, a bit more of a slower incline relative to the spikes that we get in our every day-to-day kind of existence. So, like, again, the spikes would be the really, really good videos I do, and then there's some videos where I'm talking about things that I really enjoy and hardly anyone watches them, right? Like, maybe a third of my audience is actually watching those videos, right? And then there's that sweet spot in the middle where most everything tends to fall. Life is the same way. It's ebbs and flows. It's ups and downs, and it's everything in between. And so many of us get stuck on this roller coaster where we try to outdo ourselves and feel like we have to. Again, this is going to come into manifesting, and certainly manifesting our specific person. But I'm trying to build up to it a little bit to give it a little context. So then when I get to that part, it makes a little more sense. Another great example for a lot of you out there that do the same thing. Maybe you don't have a YouTube channel, so you can't necessarily relate to the analytics. But a lot of you guys have an Instagram or Facebook, something along those lines. I don't know enough about Snapchat to speak to it, but I know that's really popular right now, especially with the generation Gen Z and Gen X, right? All that stuff's pretty popular. But what a lot of us realize is we'll put out a picture on Instagram or Facebook, whatever, and we'll get a bunch of likes. Hundreds of likes, 1,000 likes, 1,256 likes, right? Like, wow, I got to beat that. How can I top that? How can I get more likes next time? And again, it's that mindset. Now, former CEOs or execs of Facebook, as well as some of the other social media platforms, have come out and just admitted straight up that they are intentionally creating addictive software. Software that feeds that dopamine hit, that gives us that little excitement. The way the news is set up is kind of the same thing. They spike you with this excitement thing, alert, or whatever. They do something, and then you're like, oh, I gotta watch. The dopamine's been fired off. Now I'm curious. Well, it's the same with trying to outdo ourselves. We got that dopamine hit. We did really good. Now we feel like we have to outdo ourselves. Where this starts to bite us is in our manifesting process. A lot of us are working towards a specific person, or maybe working towards a specific event or scenario. And when we see something happen in our lives, something occurs, maybe our specific someone, well, we text, and then they text us back almost immediately, and it's something wonderful and sweet. And then the following day, or maybe an hour later, we find ourselves texting them again with the hope of that same dopamine hit, with the hope of that same response back. But for some reason, we don't maybe get it. Maybe the first text was the one that really hit home. Maybe they're busy right now. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just you're already texting too much and you're kind of getting back into that, and this person's like, man, really? Come on. I already said hi, and it was really nice to hear from you. But again, come on, I don't have time for this. So we find ourselves kind of trying to outdo it. And then what happens is if we don't get that text back, if we don't get that response, if we don't get that ding, that little dopamine hit that we require, that thumbs up, if we don't get that, we feel like we've failed. We feel like we've not done well. We feel like we've taken a step backwards. And that's not a fair assessment. Again, we're basing it off of a unique situation where everything was perfect, where everything lined up perfectly. All of the things were exactly as they needed to be, and you got that best result. That Facebook picture you posted, it was just cute, the smirk on your kid's face, and where you guys were at, and the way he was looking off in the distance, and you had this perplexed, like it was a perfect photo. There was no way you could duplicate that photo, and that's why everyone loved it. But here you are the following day, trying to come up with something else, or you've got your kid out in front of the house, and you're taking 40 snapshots before they go off to school, and they're about ready to friggin' disown you. Mom, if you take one more picture of me, I'm gonna punch you through the camera, right? Of course, kids don't say that, but so we get stuck in these little silos of ourselves, of our own creation, and we judge everything based off of what happened last time. Now, the converse of this is true, by the way, where if you did something, say you reached out and texted them, and then they snap back at you, maybe they're grumpy, maybe you've still got anger between you two, whatever, and they snap back and they say something horrible like, you're bugging me, stop. And you're like, whoa, not what I was going after. And then that creates kind of the opposite effect. Now you're timid. Now you're afraid to do things. Now you're afraid that you're going to mess up. Now you're afraid you're going to step on that landmine again. What I'm trying to get us to do is decouple yesterday's experience, hour's experience, with our right now. Let things be unique. Let things happen in their own way. Let things progress through the steps and stages that they're going to, through the ebbing and flowing that things naturally will do, up and downs, right? It's how it happens. Everything can't just keep going up. It can't. Because at some point, your head's going to explode, right? You've got to have a sense of normalcy. You've got to have a middle line. And that middle line can move up. No question. It's an average is what I mean by the middle line. But for an average to move up, that means the big parts, the highs are higher, sure, and the lows also still exist. Personally, I like to see life kind of a little more in here. I like my ups and downs a little less dramatic. I like it when it's, better, worse, better. The extremes, it's exciting, it's fun, but then that usually requires a balancing effect because life is balance. Life is balance. It's what the universe does. They talk about laws of entropy and all these things where heat wants to spread out, where motion wants to spread out. It's just the way things are. It wants to normalize. We need to help that experience as my voice cracks. We need to help that normalization process. A lot of us are looking for those spikes, and a lot of us really need to allow things to progress. Do your daily work, do your imaginal scenes, occasionally reach out and text, as often as is normal. Enjoy when things come back when they do. When they don't, give the benefit of the doubt. Allow the ebbs and flows. Allow the process to unfold. Just because they didn't text you back this time doesn't mean there's not a good reason for it. Doesn't mean they're maybe not going to outdo it in an hour. And doesn't mean they don't like you. Just because you got 1,200 likes on that one photo and then you put out another adorable photo of you and your family, it doesn't mean that photo's less adorable if it only gets 600 likes. It really doesn't. It's still an adorable photo. Enjoy the situations for what they are. Don't necessarily compare them outside of themselves. Everything is relative to right now. Again, what's happening today is because of what your focus was yesterday. What's going to happen tomorrow is based off your focus today. So tomorrow is unique in and of its own right. It's a new day. It's a new chance. It's a new opportunity to explore, expand, and see what unfolds, as I was talking about in the video yesterday. It gives you a chance to let the magic happen in your life, or to be willing to receive, or to receive the gifts that are coming. They call it the present moment because it's the only place you can receive presents, gifts. So again, allow things to happen. Try to get ourselves away from that little dopamine hit that always fires off when we're trying to manifest. When we get that sign, I got a sign, oh my God, that means everything's great. Well, you got a sign, and it indicates you're heading in the direction you're going. Don't get too much further than that. Let it unfold. Let it unfold. See what happens next. Keep putting the positive foot forward. And most importantly, as I always say, keep focused on where you're going. You'll get there. That's where you're heading. Don't worry about the zigzags. Don't worry about the up and downs. Just keep heading in that direction. Enjoy the ride the best you can. And keep persisting towards what it is that you're after. That path is there for you. That, especially when you stay focused on it, you will find it. Whether you're zigzagging or not, you will get there. Allow yourself to get there. That's the important part. Hopefully, this makes sense for you. Again, excuse me, the thing to realize and remember is life tends towards balance. Balance. Super high extremes, super low extremes, they balance out. They always do. And we generally are kind of heading along a somewhat of a jagged line, but still reasonably flattened out. Hopefully it makes a difference. Stay on RadioStyle. Please leave comments if you think you agree, disagree. I don't know, some experiences where maybe you've blown things out of proportion, and once you've kind of settled down and allowed things to happen, you were kind of surprised at the results. Any of those things are good. Also, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, please comment, please share, and please thumbs up on the old videos. That always makes a big difference. I appreciate each and every one of you. More great shows coming your way. Thanks so much. Stay on RadioStyle.